Welcome to this explainer. If you've ever studied Arabic, you already know it's not just a collection of vocabulary words. It is literally an absolute masterpiece of structural engineering. Today, we're putting on our hard hats and examining the very foundations of the Arabic language. We're going to break down exactly how basic sentences are built, how they're supported, and how they're sometimes dynamically remodeled to create some truly deep rhetorical meaning.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our structural blueprint for today. Foundations of nominal sentences, types of the predicate, the rules of agreement, reordering and deletion, and finally, the modifiers and cancellers. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Foundations of nominal sentences. The pillars of Arabic.
Just like any physical building needs a solid, load-bearing base before you even think about putting up walls or a roof, the Arabic nominal sentence is built upon unshakable foundational pillars, and 2 is the magic number here. No matter how long, majestic, or complex a nominal sentence gets, whether you're reading deeply classical texts, the Quran, or just everyday conversational Arabic, the core always boils down to exactly 2 essential elements. Everything else, it's really just interior decoration.
The primary foundation block is the Mubtadaa. This is the subject of our sentence. Grammatically, it's a noun sitting firmly in the nominative case, what we call marfu in classical Arabic. It sits right at the start of the sentence, completely free from any verbal modifiers. It's the ground floor. Simply put, it's exactly what we're talking about.
Now, sitting right atop that foundation is the Khabar, or the predicate. The Khabar is the superstructure. Like the Mubtadaa, it's also fundamentally in the nominative case, or marfu. Its entire job is to complete the meaning of the Mubtadaa and deliver the actual message. Without the Khabar, well, our building has no walls. The sentence would just hang there totally incomplete.
And this brilliantly illustrates the concept in its absolute purest form. Allahu ghafurun. Allah is forgiving. This is a pristine 2-word nominal sentence straight from the Quran. Allahu is the Mubtadaa, the majestic foundation. Ghafurun is the Khabar, the superstructure completing the meaning. Notice how both end in that elevated, marfu state. It's simple, it's profound, and it is structurally flawless.
Section 2. Types of the predicate. Materials for the superstructure.
So, we know the Khabar is our superstructure, right? But what materials can we actually use to build it? Well, we have 3 distinct structural categories. First up is the mufrad, which acts like a simple, solid block. It's a single word or nonsense structure completing the subject. Second, we have the jumla. This is like dropping an entirely prefabricated room right onto your foundation. The predicate is actually a full sentence itself. And finally, there's the shib jumla, a propositional phrase or adverb that acts kind of like an attached annex.
Listen to this profound example from Sahih Muslim. Ad-dinu an-nasiha. Religion is sincerity. This is a perfect architectural example of a mufrad, a single word, khabar. Ad-dinu is our foundation, and an-nasiha is the solid block placed perfectly on top to complete it, giving us an incredibly deep, resonant meaning in literally just 2 words.
Section 3. The rules of agreement. Engineering the balance. In structural engineering, if your superstructure doesn't balance squarely on your foundation, the whole building collapses. The exact same logic governs Arabic grammar. For a sentence to maintain its structural integrity, the khabar absolutely must agree with the mubtada in 2 specific ways. First, gender. If the foundation is masculine, the superstructure must be masculine. If feminine, feminine. Second, number. Singular pairs with singular, dual with dual, and plural with plural. This alignment is vital. It's totally non-negotiable for a standard sentence.
So the crucial point is seeing this alignment in action. Al-mu'minuna sadiqun. The believers are truthful. Notice the plural masculine ending, the waw and noon, on both words. Al-mu'minun sadiqun. The foundation and the superstructure are mirroring each other's masculine plural nature perfectly, creating a really beautiful grammatical equilibrium.
Section 4. Reordering and deletion. Remodeling the structure.
This is where we start getting into architectural remodeling. Sometimes for rhetorical power or just sheer grammatical necessity, we shift, delay, or even completely hide parts of our structure. Which leads us to a pretty fascinating question. Can the superstructure actually be built before the foundation is even laid? What happens when we intentionally break the default order and force the khabar to appear before the mubtada?
Now, what's really interesting about this is a strict rule regarding indefinite nouns. If your subject, your mubtada, is indefinite, like rajulun, meaning just a man, not the man, you actually cannot start the sentence with it. Saying rajulan fi dar is grammatically incorrect. Instead, it's obligatory to remodel. You must put the prepositional phrase, the khabar, first. Fi ad-dari rajulan. In the house is a man. The superstructure precedes the foundation out of sheer necessity to keep the sentence structurally sound.
Section 5. The modifiers and cancellers. The nawasik.
We've finally reached our dramatic climax. External forces that invade our sentence and completely remodel the original structure. Think of these as the rule breakers. When these specific words enter a nominal sentence, they abrogate or cancel the original default nominative state of our pillars. Inna forces the mubtada into the accusative state, or mansub, while leaving the khabar alone. Kana does the exact opposite. It leaves the mubtada alone, but forces the khabar into the accusative. And then there is zana, which aggressively cancels the original state of both pillars, turning them both into grammatical objects.
Let's move to how this builds in practice. By default, we have Allahu Ghafurun Rahim. Our mubtada, Allahu, ends in a dhamma, that classic u sound of the nominative marfu' case. But bring in the modifier inna to add absolute certainty, and this invisible grammatical force bends the rules. It shifts the vowel on the foundation from a dhamma to a fatha, making it inna Allaha, while the superstructure remains perfectly untouched.
Now, watch the contrast when we introduce kana, which shifts the sentence into the past tense. Kana enters the sentence and completely respects the foundation, leaving Allahu in its original nominative marfu'a state, but it aggressively remodels the superstructure. It paints the khabar into the accusative case, shifting ghafurun to ghafurun.
And finally, behold the ultimate rule breaker. Zana, a verb meaning to think or suppose. Listen to this powerful phrase from the Quran, وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمَةً, and I do not think the hour will occur. Our original subject and predicate were the hour and occurring, but zana comes in and just aggressively cancels the nominative state of both pillars. As-sa'atu becomes as-sa'ata and qa'imatun becomes qa'imatan. Both the foundation and superstructure are completely transformed into mere grammatical objects. The entire original structure gets assimilated by the verb.
Which brings us to a final, resonant thought. We've seen today how the Arabic language operates with the precision of a master architect. Everything is load-bearing, everything has a purpose. If shifting a single vowel at the end of a word can completely remodel the structure and emphasize the meaning of a whole sentence, how much deeper does the architecture of Arabic truly go? Thank you for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you walk away with a profound awe for the mechanics of this incredible language, and that you're eager to discover the linguistic structures that lie even deeper.